Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse, and today we're going to be looking at a server over here. I have an IBM x3850 and this is a 4 CPU socket at least server, and it can hold up to 256 gigabytes of RAM. And it has a lot of expansion cards inside, and well, I've gotten a lot of questions about would this be able to run Windows, would this be able to use a graphics card, would this be able to... I've never tried that, so I thought we should try some of that today. Can it run Windows? Can it run a graphics card? That would be nice to know. I have some at the table in the living room, so I wanted to go in there. It's hotter in there. This is the IBM System X3850 Model 2, and it has 4 drive bays for disks. You could actually put in 4 solid state drives right there and you would be good to go. This is a huge server, humongous. It has 2 very powerful power supplies. I do forget how big these are, but they are rather big. I think they might be 1400 watts. Let's see if they brag about that. Yada 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 yada. Maybe you can see it, I can't see it right now. Okay, but they're very powerful and they are of course redundant, so that's awesome. And back here there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 expansion ports, which would be really nice if you were gonna put in a lot of graphics cards in a server like this and use it as an awesome gaming server. So let's just take out the lid. But very fast down here we run into some restrictions. These slots are not very long, and I dug up my stash of old graphics cards and I found something as old as the GeForce 8800 GT. Yes, and very quickly found out that I would not be able to fit anything like that down there. So that's kind of irritating. Found an older, what is this anyway? Something Asus. Aren't they bragging about what this is anywhere? Oh, it's an EAH3850 silent something. And I was looking at that too. And that fits down there. That could actually fit. Except there are some cooling fans down here that are really in the way. If you see the sockets down here, that's PCI Express X8. And if you see most normal graphics cards, they have a PCI Express X16. So something would have to be done to fit this graphics card in those slots. It is possible to just remove the end of the slot here. That little piece of plastic right there. That little piece of plastic right there. Just remove that and let the graphics card stick out on the back, and the graphics card would only be using the first X8 of the slot, and that really does not hinder it much. It's like a few percent you lose of performance, so that would be a possibility. Or you can actually just cut off the legs of the graphics card, and that was actually what I was gonna try, because as you can see in this server, these slots are connected to this big system board, and if you break that system board, well, you've broken the server. So for this, I'm just gonna try and break a graphics card. I'm gonna have to decide with myself which one I'm gonna play with, which one I think I will have the most luck with. But I can start by taking out these controller cards. They're iSCSI devices. 1 gigabit iSCSI cards from QLogic. Removing those because I've seen down in here in the corner, I think there is the best possibilities of fitting this, where it will be less like having it right there, cutting off some of the legs there on the graphics card, and it will kind of go free. All the other ones, there is one more right there, that also kind of goes free. There's a capacitor down there, which might be a little bit irritating, but it might be okay. The rest of them is really not good to get at. You might find a little tiny graphics card that same problem actually. So, but let's try and break a graphics card so that it can fit in there, and let's just try this one. So as I mentioned, these are X8 PCI Express, and as it very clearly says, you can only draw 25 watts out of these. That's what a X8 look like, and we're gonna try and fit this X16 in there, and you can see that it's way longer. You could actually just put it this way. It would work down there, it would just be sticking out. Just for comparison, this is an X1. This is a USB 3 tiny little print for getting 2 USB 3 ports in something. I've mangled this to make it fit in a low profile slot at some point, but this is an X1. The SCSI adapters that we just took out, this one is a bit longer. You can kind of see that there. This is an X4, and that's really normal for network cards to be using the X4 slot and compared to the X1. I went out and searched and I found this RAID controller, and that is using an X8, and if we put that down there, it would fit perfectly down there. So I'm gonna be using this one to measure out where to cut this one, and just remove all the legs that are behind that one over here, and hope for the best. Move down into the basement, and I'm just gonna try and put these on top of each other, and I'm gonna remove from there. Yeah, that is being removed, and that, oh, you couldn't see that, that is being removed. So I gotta go get some cutting tools of some kind. So this is once again where one of my videos turns into a Ryobi commercial. I'm gonna be using my Ryobi tool to cut this. That was almost too easy. That's probably not the way to do that. Okay, weird. So I just need to remove all of that, and I hope I got all the pins there. So another Ryobi tool. Of course you can just do it with angle grinder, right? I think I need some protective glasses though. Ready to go! Let's see. Yeah, it's still stuck there. Okay, that was the result of that. The last little leg down here is very, very tiny. I hope it gets a connection there and that it's needed. Otherwise, this looks pretty good. I did not go in as far as cutting out these small capacitors here because I don't know what will happen. I can cut off a bit more, I see, but let's go try and put this in and see if it fits. Here is the graphics card with the ugly cut edge. Let's see if it goes in. Oh, it does. That's gonna be exciting to see how it reacts to that. Cool. Graphic card installed. Next problem, turning on the beast. I kind of forgot to mention this, but this specific machine only has 2 CPUs. They're hidden down here, the 2 CPUs, and there is room for 2 more. There's a socket down there, and there is a socket down there. If you're not aware of this, but all the client operation systems like Windows 7, Windows 10, Vistas and XP, they're only able to do 2 sockets, so you can only have 2 CPUs. If you go to the server editions like Server 2008, 2012, 2016, you can use all 4 CPUs, but I'm just gonna try some client operating system on this and see if the graphic card will work. Okay, powered. Oh, the system is powered, but I haven't turned it on yet, so we're gonna do that. It's gonna be noisy for a little bit. Oh, guess it's complaining so much that it don't even want to be noisy. That is weird. Maybe it doesn't like my graphics card. I took the graphics card out again. You can see over here it's on the table. And it's still ignoring me. I'm gonna give it a little bit, see if it behaves. Okay, I had more or less given up on this. I had put the camera in for charging and was gonna kind of call this a failure, that I broke the server. But I didn't unplug it. I just let it run while I was kind of answering comments over here, and suddenly it booted, just made a lot of noise and booted. So I hurried up and put in a USB pin because I wanted to install Windows 7. I think we're gonna put on this. That's what's on the USB pin, and this is not sponsored, so that goes somewhere else. And here we are, 16 gigs of RAM. I think it is running on the, let's see, it should be digital nothing, analog picture. So it's right now it's using the graphics card over here. I have put in a cable there for my hacked graphics card. Let's see where it goes. So I'll get the camera on the tripod again. Oh, this is the server with the bad battery. Maybe we should fix that before moving on. That would be irritating. Okay, I have a new battery here that we're gonna be putting in. So I'll just shut this down, and I better not do this while it's running. If I drop it, it would be a bad thing. So we're just gonna turn it off here. There we are. And we can change the battery. That might be why it's taking so long booting. The battery is right there. I think I can do that. And this controller cable is in the way, so now I can take it out. And here is the new one. The new one and the old one, and it's the same model, so just put that in. Cool. Almost too easy, right? So put that back down, close that up, put the cover back on and power it on again. It'll probably take a while this time too. It took no time at all. I put the power cables in because I thought if it's gonna wait 5 minutes, I might as well start that as soon as possible. But I put the power cables in and it just booted. Awesome. So, but I will have to go into the BIOS and set the time and the date and stuff like that, because it will be complaining about that. Okay, I went into the BIOS and I told it what the time and the date was, and it was happy about that. So right now it's booting again, and I'm hoping to push some button to choose the boot order somewhere. I think it's usually F8 up here on the keyboard. Let's see when it gets that far. Should get the choices down here somewhere. F12. Booting user selected devices. Awesome. Let's hope it has a USB something somewhere in there. Okay, it came this far, and I think it sees a USB stick down here. Yeah, my Samsung USB flash key is right there. This boot only. Yes. and exit, and it will boot on that hopefully. And I was suggested this in the comments some time ago, something called Yummy, and on that you can put multiple images, ISO images, and you get a cool little menu here, and you can choose what to install. Like hopefully this one, yeah, I have a 2000 server edition 2012, and I have a Danish version of Windows 7 here, so we're gonna try that one, just installing Windows 7 on this server to see if it can be used as a client. I really don't have any idea. It is booting though. Well, so the installation of Windows 7 was no issue whatsoever, but I seem to have a problem anyway, because if we look at this, I went in here and it sees the CPU, no problem there, 2.13 gigahertz, 2 processors. We could just see the cores down here. I think there are 8 cores, no hyper-threading on this CPU, so these are 8 real cores, so that's cool. But if we go into device manager, it does not see our, I do believe that it's an AMD graphics card that we have in there, so there is no missing AMD graphics card out here, so that's kind of weird. So it's not really seeing the graphics card. I'll try and go and get the driver for it, download something from AMD and see if that will help. Okay, I've been trying a lot of stuff here and I just can't get this server to actually see the graphics card. Should be down here, but it just doesn't turn up. I even downloaded the AMD drivers, and to do that I had to install Chrome just to get that, but well, it just doesn't get in here. I don't know if I've broken the card. I might just check if I can get any kind of picture out of it. Well, so I hooked the graphics card up to this workstation that Christoph from Germany sent me last year, and it's absolutely dead on that one too. So I went in here at the computer and I tried to look this up, and I kind of found that this graphics card, that's a bad angle, I kind of found that this graphics card can use up to 75 watts of power, but it does not need extra power, and that's what I am also seeing. It does not have an extra power block, but it could use up to about 75 watts, and in the computer or the server here, it did say that it was only able to supply 25 watts, and this is a really old graphics card, so well, that's a challenge to find anything that is any fun that is only using 25 watts. Whoops, now it's suddenly showing a picture. That's awesome. So it's actually working. That was weird. Well, I might have tried the other board. Yeah, the computer doesn't like it, but well, it does show a picture, so maybe the graphics card is not dead after all. So, oh, we don't want to listen to this. Okay, the graphics card is okay. Cool. Change of plans then. I popped it back into the IBM 3850 Model 2, and there is still no graphics card here. As you can see, it only sees the standard VGA. Here it's called scam card, but that's Danish, but that's graphics card, and not working in this machine. As you can see down here, I've mounted this graphics card in slot number 1, and I just went into the BIOS of the server, and in slot number 1 there is empty slot. That's probably not good. Okay, I'm just about to give up on this, but I'm gonna try one more thing. Under advanced settings here, there is advanced PCI settings here, and there is something called PCI-e ECRC generation compatibility menu, something like that. And here you can, if you press F1, it gives you some help about this, and it says that some PCI cards might not be compatible with this, so you would have to turn that off. So I'm gonna try that. I'm shooting blind here, so Just gonna try that. Save settings and boot. See if that does any difference. Well, that did not do it. I still only have one graphics card in here, and that's the one that the server comes with, and that's not the one that I wanted. Okay, I put the graphics card over in this IBM 3650 Model 3, and right now I'm getting the picture. We can just remove the VGA connection there, and the picture is still on the screen. That's because the graphics card is actually working in this server. It did not work in that server. So graphics card's working, just not in the server that I was testing it in. So, but well, that's actually not even a bad way to have a graphics card in this server. So I would say that's pretty awesome actually. Although still the wrong server. Well, I did get this question from a subscriber after doing a video on this server quite a bit ago. That this was an awesome $200 server. He was trying to put a graphics card in it, and he ran into exactly the same problems as I have just run into. You can put the graphics card in, it will just ignore it. So if anyone knows what's going on with this server and why it's not seeing the graphics card at all, please leave it in the comments below. If you don't know why, you don't have to leave it in the comments below. That's perfectly fine. It did install Windows 7 without a glitch, no problem whatsoever. And I did also install some AMD drivers in case of that would be causing any issues. Well, another day of testing, and we've gotten a bit closer. I actually like this setup, just need a more powerful graphics card that will fit in there. Well, thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye!